The specter of war hangs heavy over the Himalayas. India and Pakistan, nuclear-armed neighbors with a long history of animosity, are locked in a dangerous standoff. At the heart of the tension lies Kashmir, a disputed territory claimed by both countries. The recent terrorist attack in Indian-administered Kashmir, which claimed the lives of 26 innocent civilians, has inflamed passions and pushed the two nations closer to the brink. The situation is precarious, the stakes are high, and the world watches with bated breath. The attack, claimed by a previously unknown group calling itself Kashmir Resistance, targeted Indian tourists visiting the scenic region. India has directly blamed Pakistan for supporting the militants, accusing Islamabad of harboring and sponsoring terrorist groups operating within its borders. Pakistan, as it has done in the past, denies any involvement. However, the attack has unleashed a torrent of anger and outrage in India, putting immense pressure on the government to respond forcefully. On paper, India possesses a clear military advantage over Pakistan. India boasts the world's fourth most powerful military, according to the latest global rankings. In contrast, Pakistan sits at 13th. This disparity is also reflected in their respective defense budgets. India's defense spending dwarfs Pakistan's, with a staggering $70 billion allocated in 2023, compared to Pakistan's $10 billion. This substantial financial muscle allows India to invest heavily in advanced weaponry, sophisticated air and missile defense systems, and a powerful naval fleet. This stark difference in military capabilities has significant implications for any potential conflict. India's superior air power, for instance, could prove decisive in the mountainous terrain of Kashmir. Pakistan, lacking the same level of air defense, would be vulnerable to Indian airstrikes targeting its military installations, supply lines, and critical infrastructure. Moreover, India's acquisition of sophisticated weaponry like the S-400 air defense system from Russia further complicates Pakistan's strategic calculations. India's military modernization drive in recent years has significantly bolstered its offensive and defensive capabilities. One of the crown jewels in its arsenal is the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. Developed jointly with Russia, the BrahMos is a versatile weapon system capable of being launched from land, air, and sea platforms. Its supersonic speed and maneuverability make it extremely difficult to intercept, posing a serious threat to even the most advanced air defense systems. In a worrying incident that highlighted the missile's potency, an accidental firing of a BrahMos missile from India into Pakistan in 2022 exposed vulnerabilities in Pakistan's air defenses. Adding to Pakistan's woes is India's acquisition of the French-made Rafale fighter jets. These 4.5-generation aircraft are equipped with advanced avionics, long-range missiles, and electronic warfare capabilities, making them a formidable force in the skies. The Rafale's Scalp air-launched cruise missiles, with a range exceeding 300 kilometers, provide India with the ability to strike deep within Pakistani territory. The Indian Navy is also slated to receive the Rafale Marine variant, further extending India's maritime reach and power projection capabilities. The numerical superiority of India's armed forces is another factor that weighs heavily in any assessment of the military balance. India boasts an active military force of over 1.4 million personnel, dwarfing Pakistan's 650,000 troops. This vast manpower pool gives India a significant advantage in any protracted conflict, allowing it to sustain operations and absorb losses more effectively. Furthermore, India's edge in military hardware is equally pronounced. India fields a formidable array of over 4,200 tanks, 44,500 armored vehicles, and 2,200 military aircraft, including nearly 600 fighter jets. Pakistan, on the other hand, lags behind with a considerably smaller inventory of military hardware. It possesses around 2,600 tanks, 17,500 armored vehicles, and an estimated 400 fighter jets, many of which are older-generation aircraft. This disparity in numbers translates into a significant operational disadvantage for Pakistan, limiting its ability to wage a sustained conflict against a much larger and better-equipped adversary. Section 5. The rise of India's defense industry. India's pursuit of self-reliance in defense production has been another significant development with far-reaching implications. The country has made impressive strides in reducing its dependence on foreign arms suppliers. Today, approximately 75% of India's defense procurement is sourced domestically, a testament to the growing capabilities of its indigenous defense industry. This shift towards self-reliance is crucial for India, as it reduces its vulnerability to external pressures and arms embargoes, particularly in times of conflict. The growth of India's defense industrial base has been nothing short of remarkable. In 2023 alone, the value of defense manufacturing in India surpassed $12 billion. This burgeoning industry not only enhances India's military self-sufficiency, but also contributes significantly to its economic growth and technological advancement. The development and production of advanced weapon systems require a high degree of technical expertise and innovation, creating a ripple effect across various sectors of the Indian economy. Section 6. Pakistan's precarious position. Pakistan faces a multitude of challenges, both internal and external, that complicate its strategic calculus. The country is grappling with a stagnant economy, political instability, and a persistent threat from terrorist groups operating within its borders. This volatile internal situation limits Pakistan's ability to engage in a prolonged conflict with India, as it risks further destabilizing the country and exacerbating existing tensions. Moreover, Pakistan's reliance on external support, particularly from China, adds another layer of complexity. While China has been a long-standing ally and arms supplier to Pakistan, its willingness to directly intervene in any conflict with India remains uncertain. The ongoing global trade war and China's own economic challenges make it unlikely that Beijing would risk a direct confrontation with India, a nuclear-armed power with a formidable military. This reality leaves Pakistan in a precarious position, potentially facing a superior adversary without the guarantee of significant external support. Section 7. Global hesitation, a delicate dance. The international community, wary of a potential nuclear escalation, has urged both India and Pakistan to exercise restraint. The United Nations has called for dialogue and de-escalation, but no concrete mediation efforts have been initiated. The United States, while maintaining close ties with India, has also urged Pakistan to crack down on terrorist groups operating within its borders. However, Washington's leverage over Islamabad has diminished in recent years, particularly after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. The European Union, too, has expressed concerns about the escalating tensions and called for a peaceful resolution. However, beyond diplomatic pronouncements, there seems to be little appetite among major global powers to get directly involved in mediating the conflict. The complex history of the Kashmir dispute, coupled with the deep-rooted mistrust between India and Pakistan, makes any external intervention a delicate and potentially counterproductive endeavor. Section 8. The Kashmir Quagmire, a history of conflict. The roots of the Kashmir conflict can be traced back to the partition of British India in 1947. The princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, with a Muslim-majority population but ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, became a point of contention between the newly independent nations of India and Pakistan. The Maharaja's indecision over whether to join India or Pakistan led to the First India-Pakistan War in 1947, which resulted in a ceasefire line that divided Kashmir between the two countries. Since then, the Kashmir issue has been a perennial flashpoint, leading to two more wars in 1965 and 1999. The 1999 Kargil conflict in particular brought the two nuclear-armed neighbors dangerously close to an all-out war. In recent years, the situation in Kashmir has become increasingly volatile, with a surge in militant activity and a heavy-handed crackdown by Indian security forces. The revocation of Article 370 of the Indian Constitution in 2019, which granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir, further inflamed tensions and alienated the local population. Section 9. The road ahead, uncertainty and unease. The path ahead in Kashmir remains shrouded in uncertainty. The recent terrorist attack and the subsequent escalation have heightened the risk of a miscalculation that could spiral into a wider conflict. Both India and Pakistan have shown little inclination for meaningful dialogue, and the trust deficit between the two nuclear-armed neighbors remains vast. The international community's calls for restraint have gone largely unheeded, as both sides appear locked in a dangerous game of brinkmanship. The possibility of a negotiated settlement to the Kashmir dispute seems like a distant prospect. The deep-rooted historical grievances, the unresolved territorial claims, and the lack of political will on both sides make finding common ground a daunting task. Until a way is found to bridge these divides, the specter of conflict will continue to haunt the people of Kashmir and the world at large.